Good Wednesday morning, everybody, and welcome back to the page. So, as we mentioned yesterday, we did have a chance of severe weather for today that was really that we were going to keep an eye on for the Minnesota area, Wisconsin area, and Iowa areas and such. But we did get an upgrade to this severe weather outlook. It is now been moved up to a level 3 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, an enhanced risk for the northern Minnesota areas here, Grand Rapids, Virginia, the Duluth area, and portions of northern Wisconsin there as well. Then there's a slight risk around the rest of the area there, a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. And if we take a look, the tornado outlook has been upgraded a little bit. We are going to be watching for that tornado potential there as well. It's a low-end threat, but it still needs to be monitored closely. There is still that potential there in these areas today. You see that 5% or that brown-colored area here in the Grand Rapids area and such up here in Minnesota. Elsewhere, Minnesota, though, if you're elsewhere here in outside of that enhanced risk, that brown colored area, this green colored area, you still have that tornado potential. It's a low end tornado potential, but it still needs to be monitored. You also have a little bit of a higher end wind threat here as well, where that enhanced risk or portions of that enhanced risk is at. But all the way down to Omaha, Nebraska, up to the United States and Canada border has that potential, even over to Wisconsin and Michigan, for that damaging wind and large threat potential. There is also that potential, and you can see that bigger potential for some very large hail and that higher potential for some large hail where that tornado potential is at there as well. So real quickly here, let's show you what future model guidance is kind of hinting at. You got to remember, model guidance and model data isn't everything. It gives us a general idea on what we could potentially see, not exactly what we are going to see and such there as well. You do see some storms and such potentially going on this morning across that area. So depending on how big of a factor that plays, that may help. But as we head into this afternoon, some more storms up here in Minnesota could potentially develop and such. And those would have that large hail threat and that severe weather threat this evening and such there as well, as that threat continues into the overnight hours potentially there as well, which would lead into tomorrow's severe weather threat potentially down here just a little further to the south, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. So also with that severe weather threat for today, you do have another severe weather threat coming tomorrow as well here, just a little further south. It's a slight risk currently from, I would say, over from Kansas through Kansas City, Illinois over here through the Chicago area into just east or west of the Detroit area. You have a large area for a slight risk of 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, and then a marginal risk that surrounds that area for your severe weather threats for tomorrow. You do have a small tornado threat right now at 2% basically across that slight risk area across multiple states that we're going to have to watch closely. So if you've been in any of these areas that we have been mentioning, make sure to stay weather aware. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. Follow your local National Weather Service offices and know what to do in case a warning is issued. Just in case and such of that nature, make sure to follow your local meteorologist and such there as well. And you can see that wind and large hail threat is also there on the table for that potentially there as well. Then day 3, you do have another chance for severe weather back off over here in the Nebraska and Kansas, northern Kansas area. We don't have and you also have another slight risk over here in the northeastern portions of the United States area and such there as well for your day tomorrow. And we'll continue, or not for your day or day 3 for Friday and such of that nature there as well. If we take a look actually currently up here in the Minneapolis area here, you can see there is some storms and such going on, but it's not near as widespread as what the data had earlier. So we'll see how big of a potential that plays into that for later. But once again, make sure to stay weather aware throughout the day and such there as well. For our friends down here in Florida, you actually do have a tornado warning currently down here in the Florida area, right there around the I-75 corridor area, just to the west of the Fort Lauderdale and Miami area. But this has been a heavy rain producer. Lots of rain and such has occurred here recently, and that trend's going to continue. You're going to see, you still have those chances for flash flooding and such in this area and such there as well. As you can see, the excessive rainfall outlook continues at least through Friday right now for that potential, and even into this later on into this time frame there as well. Part of the reason why you're seeing that currently is, and like we alluded to earlier on the Facebook page, hurricane season's right around the corner as well, or it's basically it's here. And right now we don't have any big areas that we're watching. There's just a few areas that have an overall low chance of development within the next 7 days. That one of these areas is in the Bay, is down here in the Gulf Coast of Mexico and such, and that may help bring some rain for some of the southern U.S. later next week. But right now, that overall chance is low. We're going to continue to monitor that, though. Also have another area over here just to the other side of Mexico in the Pacific. That's an overall low chance there as well. But the reason you're seeing a lot of rain right now in the Florida area is this area of tropical development. Within the next 2 days, it's a 10% chance. Next 7 days, it's a 20% chance. But it's going to move off of Florida. It started off basically in this area here and has since moved. It's basically over the Florida area as we speak, and it's going to continue to move off into this area. And as that occurs, we'll watch for that potential there as well. But just continue to monitor the Tropics and the National Hurricane Center website and such for any new updates, just in case we have anything else that were to occur. If anybody's going out and traveling and such to the beach and such of that nature this year, make sure you just watch for that potential there as well. Also, taking a look at the updated 6 to 10 day climate outlook, it does still continue to show above average temperatures. Could be a possibility. Once again, remember, there's a lot to weather and such. This doesn't mean every single day is going to be above average. The general week just has that potential, of a few days to be above average temperatures. That's an 80% chance, the darker colored area up here, the dark red, for a general portion of the country there. And when you get a little further out to these other areas, that percentage kind of goes down a little further to, you have your 70%, 60%, 50%, and, further, and it goes down as you go there as well. And I could be wrong about that, counting that down the way I did. But once again, you do have that potential for some above average temperatures. There's a potential for some below average temperatures in the northwestern corner of the country there as well. But we'll continue to monitor that. But remember, severe weather chances up here in the Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, northern Missouri, southern or eastern and South Dakota, and potentially down there to the Nebraska area and such for today. And then that severe weather threat continues through tomorrow, goes a little further to the south and such there as well. With that, there is a tornado potential with those, so you need to stay weather aware if you're in any of those areas and such there as well. But we're getting closer to the hurricane season as well. Hurricane season's here. We're seeing some areas that we're going to be watching for development right now. Those areas are not big chances, but they are causing some heavy rainfall and such in the Florida area, and continues to have a flash flooding potential and a little severe threat or tornado threat possibly with that potentially ongoing down there as well as that moves over. But we'll continue to keep you updated with that. Make sure to follow your local meteorologist and your local pages for more in-depth forecasts. Once again, this is basically just a brief overview of daily what's going on across the country and such of that in weather, and we're going to continue to try to do that. Once again, one of these days, if I could do coverage countrywide in a way, I'd love to, but I just don't think that's going to be possible right now. I would love to one day, and that's hopefully a goal we can do, but once again, we're going to just do these little breakdowns daily and just go over what we see and what the National Weather Service has out. As always, they're a great source for weather. Make sure you follow your local National Weather Service offices for all the newest in-depth information for your area. Your local meteorologist, make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings and know what to do in case of any severe weather or flash flooding or hurricanes or such of that nature as well. As always, thank you guys very much and have a good rest of your Wednesday. See you tomorrow for another Daily Outlook.